going on, guys? My name is Shane, and today I wanted to build a spooky cocktail. I came across this cocktail book. It just puts a spooky twist on classic cocktails we know and love. So today's theme is Pennywise. We all root beer float down here. It has a little bit to share with you guys, so I'm going to read that while I'm trying this drink. I started with this one because it seemed really user-friendly. I wasn't using any shakers or any tools that you might not have at home. You're going to need a float glass or some kind of glass to build your drink in. I popped mine in the freezer for a couple of hours, so it's just now starting to melt, but it's still frozen. Some plain vanilla ice cream. You're gonna need some kahlua and some root beer, as well as an Irish cream liquor, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of Bailey's. And for garnishing, I have some whipped cream and some maraschino cherries. Step number 1, add the kahlua and Irish cream to a chilled beer stein or a float glass. For the Irish cream, you're just going to need an ounce. But for the kahlua, we're gonna need 2 ounces. So I do have my jigger. I'm not going to free pour. So we'll use the larger side. And whoops, maybe a little bit more, but carefully drop the ice cream into the glass. It doesn't say how much ice cream, so I guess it's just personal preference. So I'm just gonna do a scoop. Top the glass with root beer, pouring slowly at an angle. This is quite a big glass too, so I'm not gonna fill it all the way to the top. And then we're going to garnish with our whipped cream and our cherry. I'm going to use a spoon just so I don't get my gloves wet when grabbing a cherry, but I thoroughly enjoy these, so I'm going to grab 2. Chop up. Last but not least, we're going to pop in our straw. Get the bottom a little bit of a stir to mix in some of that ice cream. Oh, that is dangerous. Oh, that is so yummy. So if you care to know, the bulk of Stephen King's novels and stories exist within the same literacy multiverse. Over a dozen take place in the fictional Maine town Castle Rock alone, while his Dark Tower series spent 30 years tying everything from Salem's Lot to fictionalized version of King himself. In the mouth of all these parallel universes, Derry is the rotten tooth, home to an ancient cosmic evil that lives in the sewers and appears periodically to devour children. Mapping the layers of connection between the town and King's sprawling canon requires complicated diagrams, but the peculiar thing is that its primary book about Derry, similarly lies within a confluence of influences. The original 1986 novel was the, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know that word, apogee of many of King's narrative tics, as well as his tribute to his formative passions, from classic horror movies to Lovecraftian cosmic horror. Years later, the television series Stranger Things, while also ransacking everything from freaks and geeks to under the skin, primarily riffed on the author's work, King himself described it as Stephen King's greatest hits, and it most of all. But then, the flush of Stranger Things' global popularity, studios and networks rushed to develop King's adaptations, including a 2-part version of It. In the end, It became a copy of itself, which is exactly the sort of mind-bending nonsense that Stephen King loves. Alright guys, that was We All Float Down Here, a spooky twist on the classic root beer floats. Please don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed today's video. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new spooky cocktails coming out, and I will see you in my next one.